Good morning, everyone. This is not Pat Sajak, not Vanna White. This is Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash, and we are here today to play Wheel of Uncertainty. All right. If you haven't noticed lately, the FPHL is in a bit of a quandary with things right now. There's a lot of uncertainty. And initially, I was going to just do an episode today about what's going on in Elmira, but there are more questions and answers. So I didn't want to try and delve too deep into that because the situation is still very fluid, very much in a state of flux. So I just thought I'd talk about the fact that I don't have a whole lot to talk about right now. It's kind of Seinfeld-ish, the show about nothing. Well, this is the show about I don't have much to talk about, but it's a topic. So hence that's why you have the famous Jason Zucker. One of my favorite moments from the NHL this past season. Okay, so anyway, growth does not occur without pain or adversity or uncertainty. And remember, a couple weeks ago, I did a video talking about the tremendous growth that has taken place in the FPHL. And that is absolutely true. But as you know, you look at your regular life, you don't just go walking forward. No, you take a few steps forward, you take a couple steps back, forward, back, rinse, lather, and repeat. So it's a process, and it comes with difficulty. Growth does not come easily. So I want to talk about some of the things on our wonderful wheel here. I'm calling a pie chart a wheel, but nonetheless, we're going back in time doing pie charts. It's very 80s corporate. But anyway, so let's talk about some of the things that are on the wheel. Some of the things that we don't know much of. Right now, all these things, we have more questions than answers. That's the theme of this episode. Let's start with the future team in Wytheville. Okay. There's been a lot of silence. A lot. Wytheville, they launched their Facebook page, Wytheville Pro Hockey, on April 12th. Started off with a bang. Hey, Pro Hockey's coming. Great. Next day, post comes up announcing our Name the Team contest. Submit your suggestions here. We'll let you know who wins. All right, contest concluded on April 30th. Thank you for your submissions. We'll be letting you know who wins very shortly. Okay, last thing we heard on the Facebook page, which right now is their only entity online, was congratulations to the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs. This is May 2nd, winning the SPHL's President's Championship. That was it. We haven't had anything posted in over 3 weeks on the Facebook page, and so everybody's going, what's going on? Conversely, okay, the main objective, or the main obstacle, for hockey starting this fall in Wytheville was the arena construction, or the reconstruction, I guess you can say, because the arena is built, but it's got a dirt floor, only seats about 1,200 people. So Soskin said, "Yeah, we're going to expand the seating. We're going to make it a 3,000 seat arena. We're going to bring in pour concrete floor. We're going to put in the all the boards and the Zamboni and blah 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 blah." And so the last thing from the Wythe County Construction Journal stated, this was posted in late March, March 24th. All bids that have been submitted for doing the construction have been rejected. That's for the floor construction, for the ice rink, for the additional seats. And there has been nothing since. All right. So, I mean, that is the most recent thing you can find online is March 24th in regards to what's happening with the Apex Center. So we don't know. So that kind of plays into why they may or may not be involved in the expansion draft, which we'll get into in a bit. Let's talk about Delaware. Spin the wheel. Hey, we land on Delaware. Well, okay. Many people, including myself, assumed that they had filed for dormancy. Yeah, not really. Charlie Penn's never submitted paperwork to the league. So the league did what they felt was in their own best interest by just saying, well, we can't count on Delaware being a part of next season. Obviously, they lost their lease. They can't get a new lease. So we're just going to mark them as inactive. Okay, they're trying to get clarification from Charlie Penn Sr. Apparently, he's not answering his phone. I've had multiple people tell me that nobody can get a hold of him. He won't pick up his phone. So we don't know what's going on with the state of the team. Okay, is an arena being built in Dover? That's the plan. The only information right now coming out of Dover is from the PR director, Ronnie Taylor. He'll occasionally post something on Facebook about the committee that is putting together everything for plans and development and construction of the Dover Arena is getting together. But we don't know what stage things are at. We don't know who's funding this project. We don't know if there's a timeline for groundbreaking. Has official blueprints even been drawn up yet? We don't know. In the meantime, what about the players' rights? Does Delaware just hold on to the rights of the players on the roster until something gets resolved, or do they become free agents? I'm assuming they're becoming free agents later this summer, but I don't know that. So it's a very confusing situation. Spin the wheel again. Danville. Well, Danville, Travis Ridgen on his blog a couple weeks ago said, hey, Danville's going to be a member of the FPHL next year, the new expansion team. I'm sorry, that's not necessarily the case. I didn't say that isn't the case. I said it's not necessarily the case. Okay, what we know. SPHL, the Vermilion County Bobcats, folded mid-season this past year. So the David S. Palmer Arena board gather and say, well, we want hockey here, just we don't want the Bobcats. So what do we do? So the board posted on Facebook, we're accepting applications or bids of inquiry. So basically, for prospective ownership groups, you want to bring in a hockey team, give us your proposal. The deadline for that is April 28th. We'll decide, what we're going to do, what group we're going to go with. Barry Soskin submitted a bid, and crickets since. The last thing we heard was back in on May 10th, there was a Facebook post by the Facebook page Danville Dashers. They're not even an official entity right now. There's no DanvilleDashers.com. That has been eliminated. The last post was on May 10th. Well, we're still waiting for the board to decide. Tick, 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 tick goes the clock. So we don't know. Everything's being held up by the David S. Palmer Arena board, and they have not made a decision as far as whether they're going to have a Fed team, let alone any team, this next season. So it's assumed the Dashers are going to return, but again, we don't know. All right, let's get into Elmira. That's what I was going to originally start this whole episode off with. What we know. Okay, I'm kind of highlighting this. The CCIDA, Chemung County Industrial Development Agency, which owns First Arena, sent notification to Mammoth Sports and Entertainment on May 16th. They're moving to terminate the lease because Donner owes $250,000 plus in utility and security cost. Okay, the next day, Donner replies with a multi-point response talking about where he feels the CCIDA has breached the contract. And in the end, most productive thing he said in the whole thing was, we're moving to try and find a moderator, a mediator to get through this process so we can renegotiate. All right, so that's sounding hopeful. However, 8 days later, on the 25th, Donner said, "I'm not going to fight this termination." It was very late Thursday night. I'm not going to fight this termination. I'm going to surrender management of the arena back to the CCIDA. Don Kiernan is working with CCIDA to try and figure out, if we can continue hockey in Elmira, quote, whether with continuing the Mammoth franchise or with a replacement team, end quote. So the decision to vacate, he said, was because the CCIDA initially delayed the signing of the initial lease. So we had to go through a whole year without hockey because there wasn't time to get the bid from the FPHL. So I lost a ton of money. There was a lot of building neglect, just over time, and nothing's being addressed. And the previous tenant, blah blah blah. The HVAC and dehumidifier issues have never been resolved. That's the CCIDA's responsibility. I had a new partner coming in. He was going to bring in oodles of cash, but and the CCIDA knew this, but they filed termination notice anyway, so it scared the investor off. So the money's gone. Now there's reports. I'm just saying reports. It's nothing confirmed that overall Donner owes somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 million to various entities, players, organization members, PBLA personnel. Remember, he spent gobs of money trying to bring the lacrosse league in to the CCIDA. So, what now? Does the team relocate? Does the team continue to operate with a new manager or a new ownership group? Does the FPHL take over? If, worst case scenario, the team gets disbanded, is there going to be a dispersal draft? What's going on? Jason Zucker. All right, so that moves us to the expansion draft. We know that's taking place on June 1st, this Thursday, 1 o'clock. Right now, as of the time I'm talking about this, only Baton Rouge is participating. Maybe Virginia as well, but we went over the confusion in Virginia, so we don't know. And that leaves us to our final spin where we talk about, well, how many teams are there going to be? We know there's going to be anywhere between 9 and 12 teams next year, but we don't know. Since we don't know that, how do you make a schedule? How do you figure out divisional alignment? There's all this stuff that's, people... that's the theme for the episode. Like talking to a teenage kid. So, there's a lot of uncertainty, and that's really frustrating because the FPHL is driven by social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. The social media community wants information, and they want it yesterday. And that's just not happening, and so that's very frustrating. But even with that, I still say the FPHL is growing, and they're handling things better. This is not ideal, all this uncertainty, but hey, we're not talking about teams folding in the middle of the season like that's happened in the past. We're not talking about putting together a travel team just to try and figure out how to balance out schedules. The FPHL has learned from their mistakes in the past. They've come a long way. It's not an ideal situation right now with the uncertainty, but things will get answered. Probably not sooner rather than later, but anyway. So, okay, let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. Share your questions, your thoughts, your comments. In the meantime, remember, as far as we know, next broadcast will probably be on Spotify on Thursday. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the videos. This is Gary Ryan. I will talk to you again soon.